We're in Medina, Minnesota today at the Intercomp. We're here with Zach Johnson, Minnesota Millennial Farmer. Again, about a year ago, sort of.
Yep.
March.
Commodity Classic.
Yep. Last year review, so good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Yeah. How are things going? Any big winter projects you've been working on or anything? Or what's...
Yeah, so our winter projects this year would be, we did some stuff to the strip tiller we picked up last fall. And we've got a big project coming with the planter here in a couple of weeks, so we're going to convert over to a high-speed planter, and that's kind of our big ones for the winter.
I saw some snowmobile projects.
Yeah, some small snowmobile projects. Not enough snow.
Pretty special snowmobile though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was the 1998 XC700 that my dad bought brand new in 1997.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
Looking forward to spring.
Yep. I think we're going to need some rain.
Really?
We don't have any snow. We were dry last year, dry last fall. Other than one snowstorm we had in October, it's been dry all winter, so hopefully we get some rain.
And you rely on the snowfall quite a bit for your water tables, don't you?
Yeah, I think so, a fair amount. You know, some people think it isn't that big a deal, but I think it seems to make a big deal. If you're dry all winter and you don't get anything in the spring, it seems like you stay dry.
No stuck tractors this year?
Nope, shouldn't be any.
Okay.
Nope.
Shouldn't be any.
There never should be.
Yeah. Running 1432 again last fall.
Yep.
Tracks.
Yep.
Anything?
Ran the same one last fall. We put that on with an RT tractor, and so we got the tractor and the cart on tracks, and it's crazy. I never thought it'd be that big of a difference because our old cart had big tires on it, like 1350s on it, so big wide tires, and it's unreal how much better those tracks actually float. And now it's we used to, if you'd stop where it was too muddy, that grain cart would slowly sink in, and now it's the tractor that's an issue. If the tractor goes through it, it'll pull the cart through it, no problem. It used to be the opposite.
Yeah. And you'll see eventually probably yield differences because of loss of compaction, or?
Yeah, you're never going to see a yield loss because of less compaction, so we feel pretty good about it.
Fall tillage program, do you deep rip or?
Mostly conventional till, deep ripping on the corn stalks, yeah.
Probably not seeing the compaction tracks that you had when deep ripping from the cart?
Yeah, not nearly as much, no. You used to go over those lines where the cart would go and you could feel the ripper pull down, and it's definitely better now. The tracks are big. The Patriotic Farmer Edition part of it is just cool. I really like the extended reach auger, the way it comes forward like that, and our guys like it because they don't got to crank around so far to see the auger. That is cool. And then being able to sit in the combine and watch the scale on my phone and see what's going on, so I can tell from across the field how much they're putting in the truck. So I was able to actually talk to my son when he was learning to run grain cart this year, and if he'd have too much in the cart, I could tell him, start slowing it down, you get to this number and stop, and I could actually watch and see that he was doing that.
And that was one of the videos I thought was really neat too. Your son learned how to run the cart.
Yep.
Starting to take over, or not take over, but starting to learn and step up, and that's got to be a pretty good feeling.
It is, yeah. A lot of pride goes into that.
He would be fifth generation.
He would be seventh, actually.
Seventh generation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. It's neat to see that lineage and how farm families try to carry on.
Yep.
And sometimes easy, sometimes not so easy.
Right. Yeah. And common. That's one of the things that gets missed, I think, is that the 96, 7, 8% of the farms in the U.S. today are still family farms.
Yes.
So
yeah.
They might not look like the vision of the family farm that a lot of people have, but they are.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody thinks the public that doesn't know much about farming thinks that if you've got a large farm, you're a corporate-owned farm, or it's still family-owned farms, still family-run farms.
Yeah, just looks different than it did 100 years ago, like any other industry.
Yeah. And this spring, 390 tender.
Yep. Got the same 390 tender sitting in the shop that we had out there last year, and it's good cart, great cart. Once you get used to programming the scales and everything, so you can get each side even, you hit that button and it loads it right there and right on the zeros every time.
Cool. And that's part of the reason we're all here, because Intercomp scales on your tender, and, and promote the product a little bit, and wanted to see where they're built, and had a good tour. Enjoy the tour?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You don't realize just how much they make here at this facility right here in Minnesota.
Yeah. And as a sideline, they do a lot of racing. And you being a racer, a lot of products that do you use or see, or? Yeah,
so we never did have a shock dyno, but I worked a lot with Carter that we saw out there, and so he would dyno a lot of our shocks. Still does sometimes. We have a spring raider or a smasher, they call it, so we can test and see what the load is on the shock and spring as it's going through, as it would dynamically. So we can keep track of that, and we've got a set of their RFX wireless scales that we've been using now for a long time.
Okay, awesome.
You guys helped out when we had the grain bin safety campaign,
Yeah.
So some of that patriotic farmer edition money that you guys had there that came from the farmers, was donated into that fund, and we sent that out to volunteer first responder crews and fire departments that were able to purchase equipment and training for helping farmers under a situation that they got into in grain bins if it ever should come up.
And in the last, that's been something that really gained a lot of attention in the last couple of years with the movie Silo.
Yeah.
I don't know if that came around in your area, where they talked about I think it was 2 men that were caught in a grain bin in, I believe it was Illinois, and so a lot of attention brought and needed to be brought, because it's dangerous being in grain bins.
It is, yeah, for sure. It doesn't get talked about enough, probably, for as dangerous as it is, and how many stories you hear about it.
And to help the volunteer fire departments that may not have the funds that they need to do that, to help them
Right.
buy what they need. I mean, we've got three volunteer fire department or men in the room right now.
So these guys were here. We did a video where we went out and did some training, and these guys were a part of that, part of our local department. So, and actually have been a part of 2 successful rescues, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Awesome. And Ryan that's running the camera works at a local volunteer fire department, and a lot of grain in the area. I mean, we're all an agricultural community, so it was a good cause. It was a good cause to do
And it was humbling to be a part of when we started doing it. We were going to pitch in some ourselves, and we talked about it, and next thing you know, the viewers wanted to pitch in and be a part of it too. And we opened up that GoFundMe, and it was just like bang, overnight, just $18,000 first night or two, and then we were up to 30 and 35, and then we went live on YouTube and live streamed the deal where we allocated the funds, and we raised another over $10,000 in 2 hours on a live stream for it. So money kept coming in. We kept pulling departments out of the hat that were getting the funding, and I think we ended up with 51 or 52 different departments in 13 different states.
Yeah, there was a list somewhere. I don't know if it was one.
Probably at the end of the video.
Yeah,
we had a list there.
Yeah, video list of where it went. It wasn't just right in your backyard.
Yeah,
it was
no,
all
it
over
was
the country,
it was all over. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah,
Glad to be a part of it. So.
It was very cool to be a part of it.
Another thing this year, now you're even more famous. Men's Health Magazine.
Yeah.
Probably getting phone calls from single women now, and
Constantly.
Your wife has to fill in the
Yeah,
calls.
it never ends.
Yeah.
It gets old,
That was pretty neat though, and they did a nice. I read the article, and they did a nice job.
They did, yeah. Actually,
They did a
it
nice job.
was one of those deals where she emailed me, and then we answered a few questions, and she ended up calling me, and we talked a couple times, and for a while it was like, man, how in depth is she going on this? And then when the article came out, I could see why. It was pretty good, pretty lengthy, good article. So I thought it ended up pretty cool.
And covered your YouTube stuff, and covered your farming and your fitness, and I mean,
covered
racing,
a lot of
talked
different
about
things.
racing, and
Yep.
so it was a very good article.
The part I didn't like was where my wife called me the Kylie Jenner of agriculture.
Yeah. Was she accurate?
She might have been. That's what hurt so much about it.
Yeah. Truth only hurts when it shows. Yeah. Zach, thank you much. Appreciate your time. And
Thank you.
appreciate meeting
Good
us
to
here
see you again
for the tour.
Yeah. Too bad we can't be a commodity classic again.
Yeah. No, Orlando next year. No. New
Orleans. Yeah.
New Orleans. So
Yeah.
We'll have to meet up in New Orleans again for an interview next year.
There you go. We can do that.
Okay.